To all who come to this happy place, welcome. Disneyland is your land.
Disneyland was a truly revolutionary concept. It was the first themed park, and that theming was very special. It was based on things that had already been done at Disney Studio.
The story of Mickey is truthfully the real beginning of Disneyland.
When Walt Disney founded the company, he almost immediately created the concept of synergy. Mickey Mouse was a very popular character in films, but then almost immediately they started doing ancillary product, character merchandise development, live events, all kinds of things that supported the character of Mickey Mouse and made him a superstar. It was a no-brainer to actually do something like this with Disneyland.
Later on in the show, you'll find that Disneyland the place and Disneyland the TV show are all part of the same.
Walt would create a television series for ABC that was called Disneyland. He knew that if he could get his message about his park into homes all across the nation, that his audience would want to come to Disneyland.
The plaza, or the hub, is the heart of Disneyland.
There were actually more than 100 layouts for Disneyland. Ultimately, Marvin Davis, who did those layouts, landed on this central area that became the core, and it made it easy for people to traverse around the park from land to land and still know where that common center was.
When Walt Disney first started designing the park, he hired away his own animators from their own jobs.
He wanted to get a group of people together that could come up with a new way to tell stories in an immersive way, more holistically, using science and art to tell those stories in combination to really inspire a new way of experiencing stories that our guests hadn't had the ability to do prior. By focusing on storytelling, that really had never been done before. And amusement parks prior, it was all about attractions and games. And he really understood that immersing people and moving beyond just the attraction, but creating themed area development and landscaping and architecture and making sure the cast members were dressed to be within that story, making sure our food and beverage and our merch all added to that story. I think a land like Star Wars Galaxy's Edge really epitomizes how we have continued to hold that dear to us and advance all of those aspects of his vision. I don't think we've ever built a land quite that immersive. When Disney Experiences is putting together a new experience for guests, oftentimes we partner with different areas of our company around the world. And honestly, if we don't have the technology in one of those units, we'll just invent it.
Come on, presto, move.
Walt Disney has a famous quote, which is, "You can create, design, and build the most wonderful place in the world, but you need people to turn that dream into a reality." The cast members are really our differentiator and the people that bring the story to life.
Before we go, we'd like to bring you a preview presentation of some of the scenes from our next week's show.
It was so successful, very early on, the company was able to move forward and do a lot of the bigger projects that Walt had in mind. Major musicals like Mary Poppins. But he also wanted to create a new vision of the future, and that eventually became Walt Disney World and later Epcot and some of the other theme parks that we have. It also brought in a lot of international visitors to Disneyland. They had been watching the films for years, but they loved the theme park and wanted them in their own country. And so we went into production much later after Walt with parks in Tokyo, in Paris, and Shanghai, and Hong Kong, and all of the other places, and coming up a new park in the Middle East. It gave the audience of Disney a taste for immersive and live entertainment, which gave birth to things like the Disney Cruise Line, which is highly successful.
In many ways, Disneyland is a global ambassador for American creativity and innovation and imagination.
We want you to see and share with us the experience of building this dream into a reality.
Walt Disney was a master storyteller, and I think in creating Disneyland, he wanted a place to bring his stories to grow and come to life in new and unique and different ways. And understanding how that could transport guests to a different place and a different time, and that would create unique experiences that left unforgettable memories.
Walt Disney's philosophies have always been what the company has focused on. It is what has allowed us to grow from a single little animated cartoon studio into the huge family entertainment business that we have today. And that is because Walt's philosophies have always been very simple. It's all about great storytelling, told using the finest and highest level of technology available. And those concepts are what Walt Disney always did, and that's what still works for us today.